Have you ever stopped in the middle of a busy week and suddenly asked yourself, what's the point? We work hard, we plan, we hustle, we chase happiness, success, security, approval, and sometimes, even when we get the things that we thought we wanted, we're still not satisfied. And Ecclesiastes, one of the most surprising books in the Bible, actually starts right there. It meets us in these honest moments when life feels confusing, tiring, or even meaningless. Ecclesiastes is written by someone who had everything: wealth, power, success, fame, knowledge, pleasure, influence, and yet he kept circling back to the same question: is this all that there is? And instead of offering simplistic answers, Ecclesiastes invites us into a journey. It exposes the illusions that we chase, the things that we depend on, the places we look for meaning, and then gently redirects us to a deeper truth. This series is about that journey. Over 5 weeks, we're going to explore some of the biggest questions of human experience. And we're going to let Ecclesiastes guide us with honesty, clarity, and hope. In week 1, the man who had everything and nothing, we start with the raw opening of the book. Vanity of vanities. Why does so much of life feel fleeting, repetitive, and frustrating? And how do we find meaning in a world we can't control? Solomon had everything, and yet he strayed from God and spent years in confusion and sadness. He describes life under the sun, repetitive, hard to understand, unsatisfying, and devoid of God and eternal perspective. There is much we can learn from his mistakes, his wisdom, and his honesty. In week 2, the good things that distract us, the preacher describes his pursuit of pleasure, projects, wealth, entertainment, substances, work, creativity, comfort, and everything life can offer. And he discovered something we still struggle with today. Pleasure is good, but it can't fill the soul. In fact, it can distract and keep us from God if it's a replacement for him. Where does true joy really come from? Only a real relationship with God can satisfy. In week 3, time, seasons, and the sovereignty of God, in chapter 3, the preacher tries to understand and describe time without eternity. There is a time and a season for everything, but without an eternal perspective, it feels like chasing the wind. In week 4, relationships and how much we need them, the preacher gets personal about his successes and failures in the sphere of human relationships and relationship with God. We get glimpses of his yearning for more and some of his regrets. He had access to everything, and he had thousands of people around him, and yet he missed out on some of the deepest and most treasured relationships that normal, everyday people can have. And week 5, the conclusion of the matter, we conclude with the preacher's last words and the author's conclusion: fear God and obey him. But what does that mean for us in our modern world? How does this apply to us today? In the end, Ecclesiastes isn't a depressing book, it's a freeing one. It teaches us that we don't need to chase meaning, we receive it. It teaches that we don't need to strive endlessly, we can enjoy each day as a gift. Also, we don't need all the answers, we can trust the one who does. And life, even with all its mystery and messiness, is still filled with goodness, beauty, and purpose. The author and the preacher invite us to slow down, breathe, and rediscover the presence of God in ordinary moments of life, and to learn from the mistakes of others. So if you've ever felt tired, overwhelmed, disappointed, or unsure of your purpose, if you've ever wondered whether you're on the right track, or if you simply want a deeper, more grounded, more joyful way to live, this series is for you. Join us for What's the Point? Let's be honest, let's be curious, and let's discover together the meaning God always intended us to find.